Hey, good morning. Happy Monday. Welcome to the virtual CISO Moment Cybersecurity Quick Strike for Monday, June 12th, 2023. We begin today with an important warning from Bleeping Computer. Fortinet fixes critical RCE flaw in FortiGate SSL VPN devices, so patch now. Now, Fortinet has released new FortiGate firmware updates that fix an undisclosed critical pre-authentication remote code execution vulnerability in SSL VPN devices. The security fixes were released on Friday in Fort iOS firmware versions 6.0.17, 6.2.15, 6.4.13, 7.0.12, and 7.2.5. While not mentioned in the release notes, security professionals and admins have hinted that the updates quietly fixed a critical SSL VPN RCE vuln that should be disclosed on Tuesday, June 13th, tomorrow. The flaw would allow a hostile agent to interfere with via the VPN, even if the MFA is activated, reads an advisory from French cybersecurity firm Olympo Cyber Defense. Quote, to date, all versions would be affected. We are waiting for the release of the CVE on June 13th, 2023 to confirm this information. Now, Fortinet is known to push out security patches prior to disclosing critical vulnerabilities to give customers time to update their devices before threat actors reverse engineer the patches. Makes sense, right? Sunday, losing my voice a little bit, Sunday, additional information was disclosed by Lexfo security vulnerability researcher Charles Fole, that was last Sunday, who told Bleeping Computer that the new Fort iOS updates, yesterday, include a fix for a critical RCE vulnerability discovered by him and Rai Oru. Quote, Fortinet published a patch for CVE 2023-27997, the remote code execution vulnerability that DDX Hunter and I reported, reads a tweet from Fole. Now, quote also from him, this is reachable pre-authentication on every SSL VPN appliance. Patch your FortiGate details at a later time. Now, Fole did confirm to Bleeping Computer that this should be considered an urgent patch for Fortinet admins. Keep that in mind, as it is likely to be quickly analyzed and discovered by threat actors. Security Affairs says experts found new MOVEit transfer SQL injection flaws. This is in addition to what we reported last week. Progress Software has released security updates to address new SQL injection vulnerabilities in the MOVEit transfer platform. An attacker can exploit the SQL injection vulnerabilities in the MOVEit transfer solution to steal sensitive information. SQL injection in progress move IT transfer versions released before, several different versions listed here. Multiple SQL injection vulnerabilities have been identified in the MOVEit transfer web app that could allow for unauthenticated attacker to gain unauthorized access to the MOVEit transfer database, reads the advisory. The attacker could submit a crafted payload to a MOVEit transfer application endpoint, which could result in modification and disclosure of MOVEit database content. All versions of MOVEit Transfer are affected by these vulnerabilities, all of them. The vulnerabilities were discovered by researchers from the cybersecurity firm Huntress. The good news now is that Progress Software is not aware of attacks in the wild exploiting these vulnerabilities so far. Recently, of course, we talked about another MOVEit Transfer vulnerability tracked to CVE 2023-34362 made the headlines. And now a brief word from our sponsor. vCISO Catalyst is the ultimate community for cybersecurity specialists who believe in collaborating to strengthen the security of small to mid-sized businesses. Join the vCISO Catalyst today and be part of a community that shares your passion for cybersecurity, knowledge, and professional growth. Together, we can create a safer world for everyone. Visit our website at www.vcisocatalyst.org and start your journey with vCISO Catalyst today. And sorry about the delay. I think I caught the producer napping. How mature are you when it comes to addressing and remediating cyber exposures on a consistent and methodical basis? How far are you from reaching your exposure management goals? How can you level up? Get answers to all these questions and so much more in a new resource from XM Cyber, From Vulnerability Management to Exposure Management, a maturity model and self-assessment quiz. The link, as always, is in the show notes. Are you a Strava user? Do you even know what Strava is? Well, it is a popular running companion and fitness tracking application with over 100 million users worldwide, helping people track their heart rate, activity details, GPS location, and more. Sounds ripe for a security issue? Well, you would be correct. Because also from Bleeping Computer here, researchers at the North Carolina State University, Raleigh, have discovered a privacy risk in the Strava's app's heat map feature that could lead to identifying users' home addresses. We call that not good. In 2018, now, Strava implemented a feature called Heat Map that anonymously aggregates users' activity to help users find trails or exercise hotspots, meet like-minded individuals, and perform their sessions in a more crowded and safer location. However, as these researchers have found, this feature opens up the possibility for tracking and de-anonymizing users using publicly available heat map data combined with specific user metadata. The first step taken by the researchers was to collect data publicly available through Strava Heat Map over a month for the states of Arkansas, Ohio, and North Carolina. Next, they used image analysis to detect start-stop areas next to streets, indicating that a specific home is linked to a source of tracked activity. Having selected heat map screenshots that matched the criteria, the team overlaid OpenStreetMap's images at zoom levels that help identify individual residences' addresses. Now, the next step was then to perform user crawling, leveraging a poorly documented search feature on Strava to locate users that have registered a specific city as their location. Now, by comparing the endpoints from the heat map and a user's personal data from the search function, the researchers could then correlate the high activity points on the heat map and the user's home address. Be aware. You may have heard this, that Google has announced some new top-level domains, including .zip. Who thought that would be a good idea? Somebody did, I guess, but prompting widespread concern in the cybersecurity world. Now, from a blog post from Vulcan, some insights as to why. There are already reports of threat actors using the .zip TLD, that's top-level domain because we like acronyms, to host a phishing site targeting Microsoft Office users. Now, this is not a theoretical issue. It is a live one which complicates our risk management efforts in respect to our users. Now, combine this with the Unicode naming to fool the user's eye and some conventional AI to help write a convincing phishing email or other bait. The tools will eventually catch up, but we do need to maintain vigilance. Check out the full blog post again, link in the show notes. Info Security magazine says the University of Manchester has been hit by a cyber incident that has likely resulted in data being accessed by the attackers. The institution confirmed this in a statement published on June 9th, 2023. In the post, Patricia Hackett, Chief Operating Office of the University of Manchester, confirmed that, quote, some of our systems have been accessed by an unauthorized party and data have likely been copied. The attack was discovered on June 6th. Now, Hackett added that the UK university is now, it's not University of Kentucky, by the way, is now working with in-house experts and external support to resolve the incident and understand what data has been accessed. He also confirmed that the university is in contact with relevant authorities about the attack, including the UK's Data Protection Authority, the Information Commissioner's Office, the ICO, the National Cybersecurity Center, the NCSC, and the National Crime Agency. While investigations continue, students and staff has been advised to be vigilant to potential phishing attacks. In the statement, the University of Manchester said, quote, we know this will cause concern to members of our community, and we are very sorry for this. Our priority is to resolve this issue and provide information to those affected as soon as we are able to, and we are focusing on all available resources. Universities and other education institutions have been heavily targeted by ransomware attacks in recent years, and research from 2022 found that each incident cost in excess of £2 million on average to remediate. During the last week of March, three major tech companies, Microsoft, Okta, and HubSpot, reported significant data breaches. Dev-0537, also known as Lapsus, performed the first two. This highly sophisticated group utilizes state-of-the-art attack vectors to great success. Meanwhile, the group behind the HubSpot breach was not disclosed. Now, this blog that we've linked to from Adaptive Shield reviews those three breaches based on publicly disclosed information, and it suggests best practices that to minimize the risk of such attacks succeeding against your organization. So check it out. Good stuff there. The Hacker News reports that banking and financial services organizations are the targets of a new multi-stage adversary in the middle, or AITM. Phishing and business email compromise, BEC attack, Microsoft has revealed. Quote from Microsoft from last Thursday: the attack originated from a compromised trusted vendor and transitioned to a series of AITM attacks and follow-on BEC activities spanning multiple organizations. Now, Microsoft, which is tracking the cluster under its emerging moniker Storm 1167, called out the group's use of indirect proxy to pull off the attack. This enabled the attackers to flexibly tailor the phishing pages to their targets and carry out session cookie theft, underscoring the continued sophistication of AITM attacks. Now, this modus operandi is unlike any other AITM campaigns, where the decoy pages act as a reverse proxy to harvest credentials and time-based one-time passwords, or TOTPS, entered by the victims. Be careful. Vulcan, the company, not the planet, reports a vulnerability has been discovered in essential add-ons for Elementor. That's a popular WordPress plugin with over 1 million active installations. The vulnerability, tracked as CVE 2023-32243, allows an unauthenticated attacker to reset the password of any user on the affected site, effectively granting them admin privs. Now, CVE 2023-32243 affects the password reset feature of the Essential Add-ons plugin in Elementor. The flaw arises from the absence of password reset key validation, allowing the direct modification of a user's password without proper verification. As a consequence, an attacker can exploit this weakness to reset the password of any user on the affected website, even without knowledge of the user's current password. Now, if you are using Essential Add-ons for Elementor, you are potentially affected by this vulnerability. This vulnerability affects versions 5.4.0 up to and including 5.7.2 of Essential Add-ons for Elementor. If you are using a version of the plugin that is affected by this vulnerability, you are at risk of being attacked. You have been warned, because there is evidence that CVE 2023-32243 has been actively exploited in the wild. Security researchers have observed attackers using the vulnerability to gain admin access to WordPress sites. So if you are an admin for a WordPress site, you better check that out. And that's it for today. Hope you have a wonderful Monday and a wonderful rest of the week. We'll catch you tomorrow with the interview. I'm going to leave that guest as a surprise, because not sure who it's going to be yet, because we haven't done it yet. We haven't recorded. Hopefully we'll be recording that soon. And until then, stay secure.